Radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check okay, but the quality is quite bad.
Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be looking at my race, or our race. Me and Lewis, or Lewis and Charles around the Barcelona GP. As you see right here, I'm trying to pick my strategy for the race. Didn't know whether to go for the 2-stop on softs and then some mediums, or 2-stop softs onto hards, and I eventually went up with the hards, trying to preserve my tires, my tire life in this race. As you can see, I did not have a qualifying nor the formation lap in this video. Sadly, I lost the video clip before this, so I couldn't include it, and eventually I did get P7 in the qualifying behind Russell and Antonelli. As you see here, they're kind of working together, almost, it looks like. Eventually, I believe, Russell gets in front, and I catch up to Antonelli, pass Antonelli, so there is P6. I did up the difficulty from the last race, so now I believe it's almost at the expert mode from hard mode on the AI. And I did also upgrade or up the difficulty on the tech level and the strictness on cutting corners and penalties. Hopefully, in today's race, I will have a splendid race, and I think we did. We did have a really good race. I have two new rivals, Piastri and Norris, the McLaren team. So I have a great race with them, and then in the next video I also have a really great race with them, especially Norris in that video, but that's for later. Anyway, I was hoping in this race that I did not spin out like Lewis did in his previous Spa qualifying. I was really hoping that he didn't in this game and I didn't race. But as you can see, I have somewhat of a good pace. I'm trying, especially on the second to last corner, that really, I wouldn't call it a hairpin, but that really tight left turn at the beginning of sector 2, or at the end of sector 2, I should say. That corner, I didn't know whether to brake late or brake early, because I didn't want to go off the track, go wide, or I didn't want to lose time by braking too early. So I kind of try to, guess and use the surrounding elements to guess my brake point. And that's really what you got to do the entire time when you're racing. You always got to be paying attention not only to the car in front of you, but also the environment around you, where you spot your brake point to get the fastest line. And right here, as you can see, I have the soft tires, so I have more grip around coming into that turn. Like I said, the hard turn for me, and I get past Russell with ease. But now in P5, rounding out lap 2, going into lap 3, and it was interesting because in the previous races, I don't know if I've showed it, but my car's, I guess, maintenance is not going so well. So my energy stores and my ICE, or my internal combustion engine, is not firing on all cylinders. It's pretty worn out. So on these straights, not on the turns as much, but on the straights, you can really see the amount of time I'm losing to the cars in front, and even to the cars behind, because my car isn't just outputting enough power on those straights. So I will have to go into the into garage and switch maybe some parts out, so I can run at an optimal level. But as you can see, I try the move again. I see right there Hamilton spin, so I brake, as I do not want to pass on a yellow flag and commit an illegal overtake. So still behind Piastri because of Hamilton's spin out there, and as you heard me say previously, I hope that he didn't spin out, but he did, so nothing we can really do about that. Coming down to this straight, entering lap 4, I have somewhat of a decent run. I should have used a little bit of my battery here, and that was my fault entirely. Brake a little hard right there because Piastri is slowing down a lot. And this corner, I checked my wheel pressure, I guess, and I could see that it put a lot of strain on my front and rear tires, but mostly on the left side. Considering there are a lot of right turns, so it affects the left wheels a lot, putting a lot of pressure on them. But as you'll see, my tires get pretty worn, and right here is where that was a dangerous spot right there, because I managed to spin out a couple times right there in other games and in previous races. That same spot, I've always managed to hit the curb at like a most perfect angle, and I would decide to spin out. So here, I passed the Piastri in that straight with the use of the battery, and now P3 behind Verstappen, trying to make up some time behind him. As you can see, I'm not quite in the distance of DRS right now, and I am nowhere near Norris. He's almost 4 seconds ahead of me. As you see there, I set the fastest lap around the entire course. For now. Later on, you'll see a couple of drivers set the fastest lap. And you'll see here about a lap later, I eventually catch up to Max, but my objective was to avoid running my engine temp over 130 degrees, 137 degrees Celsius, and being behind that car, it gives off a lot of heat and dirty air, so I just pulled back a little bit, maintaining my position and also my pace, but just trying to hit the goal as well as keep up with Max and not overheat my engine. Now moving to the beginning of lap 7, this is where I have my first big moment of the race. I'm trying to push hard again, and I just put over the bump too hard, and I spin meeting the barrier, and I lose about a handful of positions down into P10 eventually. So over a handful of positions behind Ocon now. And right there, I really was kind of mad a little bit about that, because I didn't want to make the same mistakes as you see throughout the race as it progresses. I try not to take any more bumps that are unnecessary, especially that bump at the beginning. Yeah, I got really scared of these little curbs, especially that curb right there. It makes you lose traction, and then you end up spinning out, meeting the wall, meeting the barrier. A couple laps later, on lap 10, we're now pitting, and I forgot where the pit lane is, so as you can see, I screwed up a little bit there, and I didn't know what oh no, this is not the race, but I think in the next race, I didn't know what the pit speed was, and apparently it was 37 miles an hour and not 50, so I ended up catching a penalty, but not in this race. In this race, I pit on lap 10, going to softs again, and I'm gonna have to make up time now, but as you see, a lot of people are entering the pit lane. I'm pretty sure it's pitting with the same strategy of going to softs. Some of them pitting to mediums, I can see that. And now we exit the pit lanes P14. So trying to put some warmth on these tires, get them warmed up so they can have more grip. Try not to slide again on this corner. But now we have some makeup to make up some time here. And trying to make up time on lap 13, I push a little too hard, miss my brake point, and eventually go way wide, getting into the grass, and try to rejoin the track, and I just get pushed by Ocon back into the gravel now, and I lose a couple positions down back to P14, where I started when I was in the pits, and I had gained a few positions from the slight undercut of the other drivers, but now I really have to make up time trying to come back here. So that mistake cost me I think a couple seconds, maybe 2 or 3 seconds. And so now, since I'm still on the soft tire, I have more of a tire advantage against these medium tires. But as you can see at the top left corner, everybody in front of me now is using the softs, and they're, I believe, slightly newer. They're a lap newer than mine are.
Right, the gap
So
of a teammate ahead of us.
I have
13.7
to try it. I execute a maneuver on Lawson there on the straight. Now following Behrman and Alonso into lap 14. Being mindful of that curb there when I drive over it. Trying not to put too much pressure on that front left tire. As you see the goal right there, the objective, stay ahead of Lawson until lap 19. I'll eventually complete it as I overtake, I think, getting P10, getting in front of Alonso further. But my goal right now was to try to catch up to Hamilton, my teammate. And I think I eventually do that. On lap 21, I passed Piastri, and I can see Hamilton right there, 7 seconds in the lead. And I think it's P3 I see on there, yeah, P3. But the thing is, I had to box now, and box to my mediums because my softs were already worn about 11 laps, and I was starting to lose grip on these tires. So eventually I pit, I lose sight of Hamilton. Hopefully, I was praying that I could get the undercut and try to get on the podium. You'll see that I come out in front of Piastri, which is the great. So, in front of my rival, dropped down back again to P10, and I think it's P11 now, yeah. And there's a bunch of people coming down the straight. So in P12 now hopefully praying on that the undercut works with this strategy. And you see there the goal now to pass Bortoleto. Achieve 11th position. Eventually do that fairly quickly as his tires start to wear because he's on softs, and like I said, they're a lap newer than mine were, so now he's gonna start to feel the effects of loss of grip in those tires while I have fresh mediums. So even though mine have less grip than the softs, his tires are worn and mine aren't. So I eventually catch up, and I am attempting to do the same move that I successfully completed on Piastri, coming into this corner and overtaking. There you go, overtook Bortoleto. Now behind Duhan, and as you saw, Lewis is now in the pits, and as I'm rounding out, I'm praying that I have enough time to try and get back on the straight as he comes out of the pits. And there are a lot of people in the pits, but you can see on the map that he comes out just before I entered the straight. So he is going to have a 10 second, an 8 second gap ahead of me. And Sainz is 7 seconds ahead of me, 6 now. As I'm trying to push to try to make up some time here. Now in 7th position, trying to really secure, and I misclick here, and I switch the camera back. What it's supposed to be. I have a habit of doing that when I'm trying to press the overtake button, because my buttons are mapped on my my G29 wheel, and it's kind of not a lot of space on this wheel, so I misclicked there. Fast forward to lap 26. As you can see, I've already gained a lot on Hamilton and Russell here, so I can see them right there. You can see them, and I don't know who that is. Who is fighting in front? I think it's Sainz, perhaps. So I have caught up to them, and now it's basically just a final 7 laps before the end of this race. So I'm trying to push as hard as I can, trying to overtake both of them as clean as possible without major damages to the car. And I think that is Sainz in front. I think I got that right. So as you can see, I get a little squirmish on the exit of that turn. This turn being mindful of the curb, accelerating pretty good, get a good run, but Russell blocks it. Blocks the attempt to overtake. And right here, I knew I could get him on the straight if I activate the DRS, because I was well within distance DRS and the overtake. So I try to create a maneuver here, successfully do it. A lot of the AI go wide on that turn. When I find that you can easily go narrow, still it kind of messes up the run coming into that second consecutive turn. But if you can execute it just right and get on the power just right without spinning, without losing traction, you're pretty good to set up that overtake. Anyway, on the 27th lap, I commit to the overtake on Hamilton. I do get it. He tries to block me or just force me narrow. I get the overtake done. Sainz in front of me, and Tsunoda in third. I try to go for fourth position here. And you see Hamilton behind me, 4/10 behind. And right there, Sainz spins out and meets the wall. Meets Barry R, as my favorite YouTuber for Gran Turismo 7 says, Super GT. And there's the VCS. VSC, my bad, not the VCS. Oh, but now we have to. There's a safety car, so debating on whether to go back into the pit. I know I didn't have to since these tires weren't as worn as others were, and I did not want to risk losing my position, especially since there's only about 6 laps left in this race. And I knew I was close to Tsunoda. Verstappen was about 33 seconds in front. As you can see, he's already collecting back markers there, back where Sainz was. So he's pretty much going to get the win unless he crashes out and by some miracle he just destroys his car and it blows up and everything like that. Anyways, still under the safety car on this lap too. I think it comes in this lap or the next, and as you can see, I'm Norris 14 seconds ahead, and I'm catching up to Tsunoda as he is on the hard tire, which means that I do have more grip than him, although his tires are going to last a little bit longer, and I do not know when he pitted. So just trying to follow the safety cars, not trying to get a penalty when the safety car ends, and being there you go, it's ending right now as Sainz is no longer here, longer with us, and we resume to racing speed. Now, I knew my pace was still going good because on lap 29, I caught up Tsunoda, I believe, halfway through this lap. So, beginning the third sector of this lap, going into lap 30, I caught up with Tsunoda and was about half a second behind him, a little less than half a second behind him. So I decided to push here on the main straight to try and capitalize on this situation and overtake him. Norris is 5 seconds ahead, and I didn't believe I had enough driving skill unless, like I said, by some miracle, both the drivers decided to crash out, hit the barrier, and just be out of the race. But I knew that wasn't gonna happen, and they weren't gonna meet Barry R. So, I mean, I just try to maximize the my positions with the amount of time that I was given. So behind Tsunoda here, I'm preparing to set up a move, and I was gonna go for it here, but then I thought to myself, well, if I go for it here, I am increasing my chances of spinning out. So right here, I have a little moment on the exit. My tires were losing grip as I was pushing harder. My engineer told me that my wheels were already maxing out on durability, so I knew I just had to hold in 3 laps and hopefully get the overtake on Tsunoda, which I do right here. No. I end up spinning because I tried to push too hard. I over accelerated on the exit of that turn and ended up spinning. But eventually I was able to catch it and not secede my position. And now, as you can see, I'm back to where I started, 1.5 seconds behind Tsunoda, and I was really frustrated with myself here. I was really trying to get that podium, as it'll set me up for the next race. And next race was not a pleasant race at all. I did not like it, but yeah, that's for a later day, not today. Anyway, focusing back on this race, lap 31, still managed to catch up 4/10 behind Tsunoda, now around the second behind, and so I knew my pace was still good even on these tires. And as you can see, midway through, coming to the second sector of this lap, I push a little hard right here, go a little wide than usual on circuit, and I was planning to push on this main straight. Maybe try the overtake again, but this time hopefully have some success with it. As I do try it again, and I do have a lot of success with it, learning from my previous mistake last lap. So now that is third position, and with no hope of Norris or Verstappen slowing down, I just kept the pace up, trying to defend the third position and get a podium at the end of this race. Now, beginning of the final lap, I somehow managed to catch up about a good couple of seconds to Norris. It was nowhere near enough to overtake him, but I did see that the gap uh, came down a lot, and as you can see, I was trying to push here, and I think I ended up over pushing a little bit to where it caused me some time to the people behind me, the other drivers behind me. And here, taking the corner nice, slow, trying not to spin or create any accident whatsoever that would cause me to lose this position. Rounding out the first sector, starting the second sector of this lap, pushing. As you can see up there, the race winner is Max Verstappen. There was no, I guess as the commentator will end up saying, there was no stopping Max Verstappen or something like that. I don't know, something cringy, but it was funny. Anyway, Norris is going to pass the line right now in second place, and I will finish the lap in third place with the podium for this race at Barcelona.
Yes,
As
yes,
you can see
come
right
on.
there, engineer is
Great
very
drive.
happy.
Good job.
Everybody
Take
at
care.
the
Great
at
drive. Thank
the
you.
garage is very happy.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Their driver of the day. It was great racing from Charles, great
The
engineering from the
checkered
team,
flag is out.
great pits from the
We're going
team
to be
as well.
hearing that Dutch national anthem
I hope you
again.
guys like this
This is
race. I enjoyed this race very much, even though it
Verstappen.
had a couple moments. I eventually pulled back and got the podium. Even though I could have pushed for first place, I got a podium, and I'm happy with that. And I hope you guys are too. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again in the next one. Bye bye.